This is Transcend with Nat, where we are awakening to the spiritual heart, sharing stories and awarenesses along the path of transcendence. Hi, and welcome to Transcend with Nat. This is Nat. I am your host. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about some things I've been seeing lately in terms of working with people around the upset towards what's happening in the world today. And this is one of those pervasive situations that I've been experiencing with others. And it also came up in one of the recent light gatherings. I've been doing these online light gatherings on Tuesday evening, and you can get more information about that at transcend.online. It's an opportunity for people just to come together, to call in the light, to do a light meditation that I guide us through, to let go of those burdens, those things into the light that we could use letting go of, or to put things in the light that we just like more of that pure spiritual energy in our lives, in those areas of our lives, or with others. And also there's an opportunity to sharing with me. And in a recent one, someone did come forward with some of that upset about what's going on in the world. In fact, not just in that one, but in others as well. Not only that, I've experienced it just in my day-to-day life, in offhanded comments and things people say, or things that people bring to me when we're talking, that there's this underlying difficulty, disturbance, things that are challenging for people. One of the things that I am seeing is that we have so much information about everything going on in the world, everything all at once. And there's a lot that people can take to be upset about. As we adjust to this level of communication, of things being delivered to us, information, video about things going on all over the world, it's also being delivered into us in a way that keeps us engaged in our devices, that keeps us, our eyeballs looking. And part of that is to make us upset. And that's the nature of the information, the way that it's being delivered to us, as well as the magnitude of the information. Because it's not natural for humans to know everything that's bad going on in the world all the time, all at once, and to have a constant stream through their day of that kind of information. Even though throughout history, there have always been things going on at different places in the planet. It's just that that wasn't in our own personal spaces. And so it's easy to internalize that because parts of the brain don't realize that what that threat is that we're seeing on our phone, or that we're experiencing, or that we're seeing over and over, even though maybe it's not as widespread. It's the spotlight effect where you see the same thing over and over. And even though it's actually pretty rare, or there's not a lot of that happening, it makes it feel and seem like it's happening all the time, because in your personal space, you're dealing with and reacting to something all the time that's in your personal space. And as soon as one thing is forgotten about, one difficult situation is forgotten about, it just jumps to the next thing. And so people are walking around in this constant state of reactivity, of disturbance, and of upset. And that's a really unhealthy way to live life. And it's not a happy way, and it's not a fun way. And it's just highly not recommended by me, because I think that there's much better ways to live your life. There's much better ways to work with this kind of information. I'll play the clip for you just right now of what I actually said during that meeting. It used to be that you didn't
know everything that was going on in the world all the time, immediately, all at once. And there was always bad things, destructive things, wars, things that were really difficult going on all over the world. As long as we've been around, we just now see it in our own space all the time through our devices. And we see all the bad things. And then when one bad thing maybe resolves, well, there's always the next bad thing and the next bad thing. But if we stay present with what's going on in the world, that we, like you said, that it's hard because we want to control things. We stick to the areas where we can control, which I like that Viktor Frankl, the Man's Search for Meaning. He was in the Nazi camps. He survived and he wrote books on it. And one of the things he said is that, and I'm going to paraphrase, that they can take everything from you, but they can't take your attitude, basically. That's the one thing you get to choose. Focus on the thing that you can control. The first thing is your attitude. You can live with integrity. You can do these things and you can touch people in your community. And hey, there may be a point where you do have the opportunity to touch more people in greater ways. I think that we sell ourselves short on the goodness that we can do by just doing good where we are. And if we do that, you don't know the ripple effect that it will have. That's my encouragement. That's what I try to focus on in my life too.
I brought up making the news good, and that does come from my first book, Transcending the Practice of Spiritual Living. And then you have my second book also, which I just released the second book, which is Transcending the Practice of Spiritual Living, Volume 2, Volume 1, Volume 2. And you can get that at my website, transcend.online. And you can also get more information about those light gatherings. And you can get the latest book, Volume 2, on Amazon. But I'm just going to read from the chapter called Making the News Good again. And it says, instead of watching or reading the news, start making the news. Since you're the one making it, make it good. Make the news good in your home. Make the news good in your community, in your family, with your friends. If you start making the news good in your life, then you might end up in a position to make the news good at a larger scale. Even if you don't, your life will be so much more abundant with the blessings, and that is good news. And the other chapter I want to read from my first book, Transcending the Practice of Spiritual Living, Volume 1, is chapter 40, which is Psychic Pollution Cleanup Day. Because what we're talking about is informational pollution, and then the upset that it's causing people, and the amount of upset we're seeing in the world is creating this psychic pollution. And you don't help psychic pollution. You don't help the situation that's going on in the world. You don't help all the disturbances by you creating more disturbance about it in your life and you becoming upset, because then you're just living as just a person who's constantly reacting to the stimulation of the information. And the other thing about it is you don't even really know what of that is even real and the magnitude of it, meaning how much of that is actually happening. But because you're seeing it over and over on your device, in your space, in your home, in your environment, on your phone, because you're seeing these images or what's being said about it or these videos over and over constantly, you think that it's your body, your brain, your emotions are reacting like it's happening constantly. And that's just not the case. And then as you get upset, you're creating more psychic pollution. So what can we do about it? And I think there's some really good things in this book that I said about this, which is, first, being upset isn't going to solve anything. So I might as well enjoy my life and be happy, especially if all the henny penny doom and gloomers are right and the sky is falling. The world is ending. Humans are the problem and everything is hopeless. I might as well enjoy the beauty in my life for the brief time I have alive. And if they aren't right, then we really have something to be happy about. So I might as well enjoy life in that scenario too. I don't think they are right, except as a self-fulfilling prophecy where they may create the destruction rather than having to admit being wrong. Secondly, so much light has been poured onto this planet for the changes that are happening and the new things that are coming. But the negativity also gets its opportunity, as this is a negative planet. That is part of its purpose. As the negativity gets to play out, there are those of us who are stepping in as focal points for the light to come through. It's not just physically, as there is a lot of work being done on the other levels of consciousness. Everything happens in the other levels before it happens here physically. You can't control the nature of this world. All attempts, and there have been many, including all of us in our own lives, ultimately fail. You can accept, understand, and cooperate with how this level functions. You can't help the fools and people who don't want to be helped. Even Jesus said he can't help fools. Some people have a self-destructive proclivity and in their minds are fine with nuclear war and the like. They would rather be right than be alive. What you can do is have compassion with them, authentically, not as a holier-than-thou attitude. You can hold the light in the darkness. You can be the one to whom people will turn when they need that uplifting energy of spirit. So, who are you? Who are you to others? Are you someone that others can come to? And when they come to you, whether they come to you in loving, whether they come to you in upset, that they feel uplifted, that they feel that there's a caring for them from you. One of the things in doing the work that I do, one of the beautiful things is when the love starts coming back through other people. When I'm giving through my connection with spirit and I give to others and I give of these teachings and I give through the light, or the light gives through me in many ways, it really becomes wonderful for me when that moves someone in their life, when they open up and get that contact to the loving within them, and then that loving comes back to me. And then we're both creating more loving. If you're living your life and someone comes to you who doesn't share the same political beliefs, because that's a lot of what's happening right now, are you someone that they can talk to, that even if you both disagree or see things differently, that they know that there's a caring and a respect that you have for who they are, and that you may disagree about things, but when they come to you and when they connect with you through talking to you, through being around you, that they walk away feeling the goodness of that interaction with you? Or are you someone that if someone comes to you and they have differing political beliefs, you just try to force your thoughts on them, your beliefs, the way you see things? Are you making them bad inside of you? Are you making them out to be bad people because they see things differently than you? Or do you see beyond the shell of the armor of their beliefs and how they're perceiving things? Because if you see beyond people's armor, whether that's their political beliefs or their perception of the world or their religious beliefs, if you can see who they truly are and relate to them as an individual, as a human being, as a soul with loving and respect, and see the goodness in them, and also see the goodness because you're tapped into your goodness within you, then they're much more likely to put that armor aside, to put the shell of their belief in how they're perceiving things aside so that you can have an essential contact of caring with each other. They may feel relieved. But if someone comes to you and they talk to you from their view of what's taking place, from their political beliefs, and you just hit them over the head from a place inside of you that they're bad because of their beliefs, that they must be bad people, then they are going to create an even harder shell of armor of these beliefs. It's actually going to make people ingrain themselves more. But if you come to them with that dignity and loving respect of letting them have their own process and seeing beyond whatever their opinions or thoughts are and seeing to who they truly are, that gives people an opportunity to walk away feeling more loved. And that gives people an opportunity to take those beliefs or those opinions or those political viewpoints and put them aside and maybe have a chance to look at their own without feeling that they're a bad person, where you can give them that opportunity to examine. They have the space to examine their own viewpoints and look at different ones without having to be wrong or bad if they choose something different or that they were wrong or bad. How I experience a lot of what I do is that I'm just connected inside of me to the spirit within me, to the goodness within me. And so when someone comes to me, I can reflect the goodness within them. I reflect to them their own soul because I'm in touch with mine. And so when they come to me and I'm in touch with that energy, it goes to them. And then they start to have that experience within them of their connection to the light and to the soul. The work I do is in connecting people back to the light and allowing them to have that energy vibrate so that they can have the awareness of who they are as the goodness of them, as the soul, as divine, as that connection to God. And I keep putting out that energy of the light and that connection of the light that can reflect back to them their connection of the light as they get stronger in their own connection. And so that's a lot of this work here. And the beauty is when people start to get that and do that for others, so that as those people that I touch, that I can connect back into the light, as they live more in that, rather than just constantly being in this place of disturbance and upset and reaction and reactivity of what's going on in the world, where they're actually not reacting, but they are moving with the light and from this connection of the light, which is the goodness within them. And then they're touching that to others. And so people come to them with their upset, with their disturbance, and they give them the space. And it's not giving them the space to just dump. It's giving them the space because you're seeing beyond whatever it is that they have put in between themselves and their loving, between themselves and their connection to the light, between themselves and their vision and seeing their own oneness with God and their connection to the soul. As you do that for others, sometimes people run because they don't want to see that. They want to hold on to their limitations. They want to fight for their limitations, and they're welcome to them. They get that. That's okay. If you want to stay in that contracted place, that's really fine. My job is to be here for those who are wanting to expand, who are wanting to let go into having a greater loving, greater joy, greater happiness in their life, and greater touching in with the spirit. And as you do that, as you shift that intention of where you're coming from, then you become more aware and choose differently. So if you find that looking at certain things, being on certain social media is just creating more and more upset, then you stop or you limit your time, or that's not how you get your news. And even when you talk to your friends, it's not just the people who you disagree with that can cause the upset and the disturbance. It's the people that you agree with too, because then you can create this echo chamber with them of upset about how they're seeing it. So if someone who you agree with comes to you, whether they agree with you or not, but if someone agrees with you in your political viewpoints, sometimes that's even more dangerous to get you upset, because you'll get upset about the same things. And then you may compound their upset because you believe the same things. And so the more you can come from this place of seeing beyond the things that are upsetting you, seeing beyond the viewpoints and the perceptions, and seeing to the truth of who people are, and choosing to treat all people with the dignity, loving, and respect that they are afforded because simply they are humans, and because you are in touch with who you are, and you're loving, and you're caring, and who you are as a soul, and then you relate to others in the same way. It's not an easy task, but it is something that is extremely necessary right now as we go forward into the world, especially as more and more of this informational pollution, especially the fake things that are being created, or even the real things that are being repeated, especially with slanted viewpoints, with very intentionally attempting to keep you addicted in this cycle of upset and reactivity. That as all of this is taking place, what I call the informational warfare, is that you come to a place where you are not reacting to that, but you are acting with loving and compassion for all those who are being affected by this, and creating the goodness from within by being touched with the goodness within you, and then relating to the world and to all that's going on through that goodness, through the light. And that's what I hope for you and for more people, because the more of us who are doing this, the more of us who are not being trapped in this game of separation, the more we can shift the narrative into one of goodness, into one of coming together, into one that sees beyond the differences, but allows the differences, but has respect for each other regardless of the differences, and acts from that place. And so that's what I encourage all of us to be doing. And if you would like to have a place of focus to do that, I'm doing that light gathering on Tuesday night. You can get more information about that on my website, transcend.online. I also have the weekly newsletter, Transcend with Nat, which is also on my website. And you can also get the latest book on Amazon. You can check out both books on my website, transcend.online. And also, if you're really struggling, you can work with me personally. Or if you're not struggling, you just want to create more goodness in your life, and you want help and support in moving forward towards where you want to go and have the experience that you want more of in your life, then you can reach out to me directly through the website, and I can put you on the schedule to do one-on-one spiritual counseling with you. In the meantime, God bless you all.
'Cause I'm free. Just forgive yourself. Come on, let it be. 'Cause I'm free.